Did you see that? I fired. The shot was clear, but the game, it just swallowed it. And then I'm suddenly over here, dead. My internet's fine. I just ran a speed test. It's blazing fast. So what exactly is this? This infuriating, unpredictable chaos that we all just call lag. For years, we've blamed slow internet. But that's like blaming a slow car because you're stuck in traffic. What if the road itself is the problem, not your engine? Or what if the car behind you is swerving wildly? The internet's vast highway has many hazards, and speed, or bandwidth as we engineers call it, is only one lane. Why does your game feel so different from, say, streaming a movie? Even both need data. Let's peel back the layers. Our first suspect, often the stealthiest culprit, is latency. You might know it as ping. It's not about how much data you can send, but how long it takes for a single piece of data to travel to a server and back. Think of it as a whispered conversation across a football field. It doesn't matter how loudly you shout. It's the time it takes for your friend to hear you and respond. Watch this. I'm sending a tiny signal to a game server far away. That time value, that's your round-trip journey. A 20-millisecond ping means your input, a mouse click, a key press, takes 20 milliseconds to reach the server, and the server's response takes another 20 milliseconds to get back to you. Total lag, 40 milliseconds for every single action. Now, what if that number jumps to 200 milliseconds? Suddenly, every shot is delayed. Your character feels heavy. That's not a slow connection. That's a distant conversation, or a very congested one. Imagine if someone deliberately tried to make your conversation longer. So, if latency is the time it takes for one tiny message, what about bandwidth? This is what your ISP usually sells you: gigabit internet. It's the volume of data you can send or receive per second. Think of it as the width of our internet highway. A streaming movie needs a very wide highway for a constant, high volume of data. But a game? Most games send tiny, frequent updates. My player is here. I shot there. Just a few kilobytes per second. A narrow road is perfectly fine for these small, fast messages. So why would high bandwidth matter for lag? Here's the catch. Even if games don't individually need much bandwidth, your entire household shares that highway. Imagine a tiny car, your game packet, trying to merge onto a highway that's suddenly clogged with giant semi-trucks. A 4K movie stream, a huge game update, a sibling's video call. Your tiny packet gets stuck behind the trucks. It still gets there eventually, but it takes much, much longer. This isn't latency in the sense of distance. It's latency due to congestion. Your 200 Mbps connection doesn't help if it's all used up. Now, let's talk about something truly insidious: jitter. Imagine our highway again. Your game packets are cars, and latency is their travel time. Jitter is when those travel times aren't consistent. One packet arrives in 50 milliseconds, the next in 150 milliseconds, then 70 milliseconds. It's like cars arriving at random intervals, even if the average speed is okay. What does that feel like in a game? It's the rubber banding. It's the enemy suddenly appearing to skip across the screen. Your computer tries to predict where things will be, but with inconsistent updates, it constantly has to correct itself. What makes packets arrive at inconsistent times? Often, it's an unstable Wi-Fi connection struggling through walls, or an overloaded router trying to juggle too many devices. Every single delay introduces uncertainty. Your game client receives an update. Enemy is at XY. Then 100 milliseconds later, another update. Enemy is at X plus 10, Y. But maybe the next update arrives after only 20 milliseconds, saying enemy is at X plus 12, Y. The sudden jump makes the game engine freak out, and you see the teleport effect. It's a constant battle for smooth prediction. And finally, perhaps the most frustrating and often misunderstood culprit: packet loss. This is when our little data cars don't just get delayed or arrive inconsistently. They simply vanish into the ether. They never make it to their destination. What happens when your game client tells the server, "I fired my gun," but that message just disappears? The server never registers your shot. You see the animation, but nothing happens. Or the server sends "enemy is here," and that message vanishes. Your enemy becomes invisible, or they seem to be phasing through walls.
Packet loss is devastating. It breaks the fundamental communication flow. Common causes? Overloaded network equipment, your router, your ISP's equipment, or even the game server itself. Faulty cables, weak Wi-Fi signals, or even malicious attacks. This isn't just an annoyance. It's a critical failure in the internet's delivery system. When your game reports 0% packet loss, but things still feel off, it could be a different type of loss, or one of our other culprits masquerading as a new issue.
So, how do we find where the problem is? Is it your computer, your Wi-Fi, your ISP, or the game server itself? This is where Traceroute, or Traceroute on Windows, becomes your best friend. It maps the path your packets take, hop by hop, from your machine to the destination. It will show you the latency to each router along the way. If one hop suddenly shows high latency or packet loss, you've found your bottleneck. And here's the security angle. A malicious actor can deliberately cause high latency or packet loss at a specific hop to target a game server or even a player. This is the essence of a denial of service attack. Let's analyze. If your tracer shows low latency to your router, but then suddenly jumps on the first hop outside your network, the issue is likely with your ISP. If it's fine until the last few hops closer to the game server, then it might be the game server itself or the backbone networks leading to it. This technique is crucial for more than just gaming. When cyber attackers launch a distributed denial of service, or DDoS, they're often trying to overwhelm specific points on this tracer path, either the target server itself or an upstream router to cut off all traffic. By understanding these metrics, you're not just a player, you're a detective against network disruption, whether accidental or malicious. So, what's the ultimate fix? First, always prefer a wired Ethernet connection over Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi introduces variability, more jitter, more potential for packet loss. Second, consider quality of service, or QoS settings on your router. It lets you prioritize game traffic over movie streams or downloads. Third, check your game server region. Playing on a server across the globe guarantees high latency. Finally, if you've done your Traceroute and identified an ISP issue, you have concrete data to present to them. You're not just complaining about lag, you're telling them exactly where their network is failing you. We've just journeyed through the lower layers of the internet stack, uncovering the raw physics of data transmission. These concepts, latency, bandwidth, jitter, and packet loss, are fundamental to everything we do online. They're the silent architects of our digital experience. But what happens after those packets arrive? How do websites remember who you are? How do secure connections encrypt your data? That's where we move up the stack to the application layer, where things get even more fascinating and even more vulnerable to attack. We'll explore cookies, encryption, and the true cost of convenience online. Stay curious, because the internet's secrets run deep.